Let us for a few moments meditate on Sri Ramakrishna and pray for peace and prosperity of the whole humanity. Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Stavakaya Dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Stavakaya Dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Avatara Varishtaya Ramakrishna Te Namaha Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityormamritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us bow down to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God incarnate. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. We have been discussing since the last class the topic, the attitude of Vaatsalya. Sri Ramakrishna says that in this modern age, it is easy to follow the path of devotion in order to realize God. Sincerity and deep faith are necessary. Then Sri Ramakrishna said that one should establish different attitude towards God in order to realize Him. There are so many attitudes described in our scriptures. One is looking upon God as mother and the aspirant as her child. One can look upon God as father. One can look upon God as a master. One can look upon God as a friend. So there are so many attitudes. Whatever attitude you like to have, you must establish it well by your regular spiritual disciplines. And Sri Ramakrishna himself was adept in the attitude of Vaatsalya, looking upon the Divine Mother and as his own mother and himself as the child of the Divine Mother. And Sri Ramakrishna says that in this attitude you are perfectly safe. You don't have to worry. You don't have to be concerned. Everything is taken care of by the mother. As the mother takes care of the child, what is needed is you have to be like a child, guileless, pure-hearted and simple. That's all that is needed. This attitude of Vaatsalya is remarkable. In this attitude, you feel tenderness. One is easily drawn by tenderness and affection. We have seen in Sri Ramakrishna's life itself, Gadadhar, as he was called in his childhood, he was very charming. Every woman in the village felt immensely drawn towards this child. They would love to come and fondle the child. They would not go away. They would like to keep seeing him as much as they could. Such tremendous attraction was there in this child. The most notable of such women was Dhani, the blacksmith woman who was so much attracted to Chandra Devi that she served as a midwife when the child Gadadhar was born. At the time of Upanayana ceremony, that is the sacred thread, giving sacred thread to the child, there's a very important ceremony in a Brahmin family. At that time, it is very important that the boy who received that Yajnopavit should take the first bhiksha. Generally, it is taken by his own mother. Here, Gadadhar selected Dhani as the Bhikshu Mata. How Gadadhar became very fond of Dhani, and Dhani was very fond of Gadadhar. Purest form of love one could see between the mother and the child. Everybody in the village became very fond of Gadadhar. The Vaatsalya sentiment in the life of Sri Ramakrishna is not confined to the human realm. It extends into the superior and subtler divine realm too. Sri Ramakrishna became a very affectionate child of the Divine Mother Kali and got from her all and much more than all that a child gets from its human mother. So the Divine Mother Kali was more than his own earthly mother in every respect. Sri Ramakrishna adopted this attitude of child. He began to adore the image of Kali in the temple. But then he soon ascended to a region in which Kali became a living reality to him. It was not simply a clay or a metal image. It was Chinmaya Murti. For him, whenever he would go into the sanctum sanctorum of the Dakshineshwar Kali temple, he would visibly see the Divine Mother. He could see because he was so pure-hearted, all his senses were pure, so he could see the Divine Mother in the image. He could touch her, he could talk to her, he could play with her. And it was very natural for him. His association with her was a ceaseless contact and was a concrete fact that nobody could shake his belief in the Divine Mother. It was no fancied belief. The Divine Mother's advice was sought and obtained by him in regard to everything, tiny situation and momentous problems. He practically lived and moved and had his being on the very lap of Kali. You can see when you study Sri Ramakrishna's life, how many times he would call Ma, Ma, Ma. Every time he would sing, he would call the mother's name. In his own words, Sri Ramakrishna actually felt her breath on his hand, and he never saw her divine form cast any shadow. He ate with her, he lay with her on her bed like a baby in the warm clasp of the mother. The long account of his very close relationship with the Divine Mother, Kali, is an epic of Vaatsalya. It is an epic of Adbhut also. The Bhairavi Brahmani, the teacher of Sri Ramakrishna, cherished a motherly attitude towards her talented disciple Sri Ramakrishna. Established in the Vaatsalya mood, she would feed Sri Ramakrishna with sweets and milk preparations, even as Yashoda fed Sri Krishna. Sometimes the Bhairavi Brahmani would hold cream and butter in her hand and call out Gopala, Gopala. Somehow Sri Ramakrishna would feel the pull of her call in a mysterious way, and he would run to her even as a boy runs to his mother in great eagerness and would get fed by her. Many times, along with other women, she would come singing from her home to Sri Ramakrishna's room at Dakshineshwar and feed him with various delicacies. All these are powerfully reminiscent of Krishna's days with the gopis of Vrindavan. A very striking instance of Vaatsalya can be seen with Sri Ramakrishna's Vaatsalya attitude with Aghormani Devi, another very remarkable devotee of Lord Krishna. She was a child widow, but she lived in a temple on the Ganges for many years, telling her beads and thinking of the baby Krishna. She would do temple services, and whenever she would go back to her cottage, she would keep repeating Lord Krishna's name. She became acquainted with Sri Ramakrishna, and a strong bond of affection grew between them. Soon a miracle happened. The austere discipline and the ceaseless bead telling and remembrance of the divine child made Aghormani see baby Krishna all through day and night. Sri Ramakrishna was overwhelmed to see such great devotion in Aghormani towards Krishna. And Krishna would come and play with her. He would ask her butter He would ask many things. He would play, he would jump, he would dance, he would sit on her shoulder. In so many ways, Krishna, in the form of a baby, gave tremendous joy and happiness to Aghoramani. One day, she decided to meet Sri Ramakrishna at Dakshineshwar, Kali temple. She had to cross the Ganges, and she did cross by a boat, but all through she was carrying the baby in her hands. Lord Krishna was visibly present. The child baby, the child Krishna was visible only to her, not to other people. So she went to see Sri Ramakrishna, carrying the baby in her arms. To her, Sri Ramakrishna and the baby Krishna seemed to be one and the same. As soon as the baby Krishna was kept on the ground, it crawled and merged into the heart of Sri Ramakrishna. This vision of the child Krishna remained with Aghoramani as a flesh and blood reality for 2 months at a stretch. And the child engaged her in a lot of fun and small mischief. Sri Ramakrishna told Aghoramani, "You have achieved the impossible. Such a realization as yours is rare in this age." Even after the 2 months period was over, she was always full of Gopal consciousness. We have seen in Sri Ramakrishna's life, he was a recipient of Vaatsalya. But Sri Ramakrishna's spiritual voyage was so extensive and thorough that he was not only the object of Vaatsalya, but its subject too. Not only was he the receptacle into which a blessed few let their current of Vaatsalya flow and stay, much to their safe and sense of fulfillment, but he was also the source from out of which Vaatsalya flowed into others in streams of supreme happiness. One of Sri Ramakrishna's important sadhanas was his mothering of Ram Lal, or the boy Rama. There was also another famous incident in the life of Sri Ramakrishna we find. To mortal eyes, Ram Lal was but a metal image, at first in the possession of a wandering sadhu, Jatadhari, as he was called. But Jatadhari's devotion to Rama had ripened so much that this image was a living individual to him. No one else, of course, knew of this. But when he came to Dakshineshwar for a stay during his pilgrimage, the all-seeing Sri Ramakrishna easily saw how Ramlal was the darling of Jatadhari, and ate and slept and sported with him, and even teased him as boys tease their parents. Soon Ramlal became very close with Sri Ramakrishna, and he became his pet and fondling. The ways in which Ramlal fascinated Sri Ramakrishna were numerous. Sri Ramakrishna told his disciples, "I saw Ramlal as vividly as I see you all, now dancing gracefully before me, now springing on my back, or insisting on being taken up in my arms." Ramlal kept on playing with Sri Ramakrishna. Again Sri Ramakrishna said, Ramlal would fix his beautiful eyes on me and smile, or like a naughty boy, he would go on with his pranks or make faces at me. Like an exasperated mother, Sri Ramakrishna would occasionally slap Ramlal for unbearable naughtiness, and again, like an overfond mother, repent even that gentle violence and take to consoling and cajoling the admonished boy. In intensity and successful execution, Sri Ramakrishna's practice of Vaatsalya was such as to beat all record. The fascinating account of this chapter of his spiritual strivings is really a blend of high human aspiration and spontaneous divine response in the sweetest possible setting. Now, if we study the Guru-Shishya relationship, here also we find how Sri Ramakrishna was motherly in treating his disciples. The Guru-Shishya bond is regarded as the holiest and strongest of all human attachments. In fact, this bond cannot be confined to the limits of his human relationship, as it is of a class apart and is based on attitudes and values which transcend the human realm. While Sri Ramakrishna was a marvel in every facet of his multi-personality, as a guru he was peerless. He was really a mother to his disciples. His guruhood did not stop with spiritual instruction, but extended to such things as the number of chapatis a disciple should be served, and so on. His concern for his disciples was more than that of a mother for the children born of her. One of his disciples, Swami Brahmananda, was verily brought up by him as his Manasa Putra, the spiritual son. Swami Brahmananda also behaved with the master exactly as a beloved child behaves with a love-exuding mother. In Sri Ramakrishna's contacts with his disciples, many times it was a maternal attitude that was in the ascendant in him. There is an instance regarding this. It was Thursday, March 29, 1883. Rakhal was not feeling well. Sri Ramakrishna was greatly worried about him and said to the devotees, "You see, Rakhal is not well. Will soda water help him? What am I to do now? Rakhal, please take the prasadam from the Jagannath temple." Even as he spoke these words, the master underwent a strange transformation. He looked at Rakhal with infinite tenderness of a mother and affectionately uttered the name of Govinda. Sri Ramakrishna would actually see Govinda manifested in Rakhal. The disciple was a young boy of pure heart who had renounced all attraction to lust and greed. And Sri Ramakrishna was intoxicated day and night with love of God. At the sight of Rakhal, his eyes expressed the tender feelings of a mother, a love like that which has filled the heart of Mother Yashoda at the sight of the baby Krishna. Sri Ramakrishna has been described by Swami Vivekananda as Bhaswara Bhavasagara. That is, he is the ocean of feeling sublime. That is how we find Vaatsalya rasa in the life of the God-man of Dakshineshwar, Sri Ramakrishna. From the date of birth unto the last, he maintained this attitude of Vaatsalya. And he always felt himself as a child and Kali as the Divine Mother, his own mother. And this sentiment he maintained till the end. Even after realizing the absolute non-dual state, still he maintained this attitude of Vaatsalya. He would always say, I am always a child of the Divine Mother. She is my mother. I am her child. So, if one could sincerely take up this attitude and establish relationship with God, considering himself as a child and God as the father and mother, definitely one can realize God in this human life itself. What is needed is pure-heartedness, sincerity, and deep faith. Then everything will be done. Mother herself takes the responsibility of lifting up her own child who has totally surrendered and dedicated to her. Page 698. Looking at Girish and M, Sri Ramakrishna said, divine fervor fills my body and robs me of consciousness. Here, consciousness means consciousness of the outer world. One needs the knowledge of reality and Brahman. Bhakti, love of God, is the only essential thing. One kind of bhakti has a motive behind it. Again, there is a motiveless love, pure devotion, a love of God that seeks no return. Keshav Sen and the members of the Brahma Samaj didn't know about motiveless love. In this love, there is no desire. It is nothing but pure love of the lotus feet of God. There is another kind of love known as Urjita Bhakti, an ecstatic love of God that overflows, as it were. When it is awakened, the devotee laughs and weeps and dances and sings. Chaitanya Deva is an example of this love. Rama said to Lakshman, brother, if anywhere you see the manifestation of Urjita Bhakti, know for certain that I am there. Girish said, everything is possible through your grace. What was I before and see what I am now? Master said, you had latent tendencies, so they are manifesting themselves now. Nothing happens except at the proper time. Take the case of a patient. Nature has almost cured him. When the physician prescribes a herb and asks him to drink its juice, after taking the medicine, he is completely cured. Now, is the patient cured by the medicine or does he get well by himself? Who can tell? Lakshman said to Lava and Kush, you are mere children. You don't know Rama's power. At the touch of his feet, Ahalya, who had been turned into a stone, got back her human form. Lava and Kush said, Revered sir, we know that. We have heard the story. The stone became Ahalya because of the power of the holy man's words. The sage Gautam said to her, in the Tretayug, Ram will pass this hermitage, you will become a human being again at the touch of his feet. Now, who can tell whether the miracle happened in order that the sage's words should be filled or on account of Rama's holiness. Everything happens by the will of God. If your spiritual consciousness has been awakened at this place, know that I am only an instrument. Uncle Moon is everybody's uncle. All happens by the will of God. Girish smiling, did you say by the will of God? What I am saying is the very same thing. All love. Master said to Girish, by being guileless, one can speedily realize God. There are several kinds of people who do not attain divine knowledge. First, a man with a perverse mind. He is not guileless. Second, one who is very fastidious about outer purity. Third, a doubting person. Sri Ramakrishna spoke highly of Nitya Gopal's ecstasy. 3 or 4 devotees stood near Sri Ramakrishna on the veranda and listened to his words about the exalted state of Paramahamsa. The Master said, a Paramahams is always conscious that God alone is real and all else illusory. Only the swan has the power to separate milk from a mixture of milk and water. The swan's tongue secretes an acid that separates the milk from the mixture. The Paramahamsa also possesses such a juice. It is his ecstatic love for God that separates the real from the mixture of the real and the unreal. Through it one becomes aware of God and sees him. Sri Ramakrishna was at the house of Girish Ghosh in Bospara Lane, Calcutta. It was about 3 o'clock when M arrived and prostrated himself before him. The Master was going to see a play at the Star Theatre. He was talking with the devotees about the knowledge of Brahman. Master said, man experiences 3 states of consciousness, waking, dream and deep sleep. Those who follow the path of knowledge explain away the 3 states. According to them, Brahman is beyond the 3 states. It is also beyond the gross, the subtle and the causal bodies, and beyond the 3 gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas. All these are Maya, like reflection in a mirror. The reflection is by no means the real substance. Brahman alone is the substance, and all else is illusory. The knowers of Brahman say further that it is the identification of the soul with the body that creates the notion of duality. In that state of identification, the reflection appears real. When this identification disappears, a man realizes, I am he, I am Brahman. A devotee said, then shall we follow the path of reasoning? Sri Ramakrishna answered, reasoning is one of the paths. It is the path of the Vedantists. But there is another path, the path of bhakti. If a bhakta weeps longingly for the knowledge of Brahman, he receives that as well. These are the 2 paths, jnana and bhakti. Waking state means you are in the waking world now. When you are outer consciousness. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, what I mean to say, there are 3 states. One is waking state, another is dream state. So, in the waking state, what you are seeing, in the dream state, what you are seeing. So, when the Brahman consciousness is awakened, then you see Brahman everywhere. Whether in the waking state or in the dream state, you see only Brahman consciousness. Anything else? Huh? Yeah? Yeah. Vaatsalya sentiment. Vaatsalya. Not the question of, not with that, the idea of surrendering yourself to God means, in order to maintain that attitude, you must be pure, pure-hearted. And your actions, your behavior, your movements, everything must be in accordance with that attitude. So, As I said in the beginning, one should have sincerity and deep faith. Then only it works. And if you say you are surrendered to God, at the same time you carry on things in your own way, then the conflict will come. You are not supposed to do in your own way. Then you have to establish yourself properly with the Divine Mother and pray to her that everything would go well, and then proceed to do things. That's the way. And another means, Vaatsalya doesn't mean that you should keep idle. You must keep doing. You must keep remembering. You must call her. The mother loves the child to call her. When the child calls, mother runs. Calling is required. So, calling her and surrendering to her, they go together. When you call her, you feel you belong to her and she's taking care of yourself, and in that feeling you feel highly secured. With that secured feeling, you are able to carry on the work. Mother is protecting me all the time. So with that attitude, if you conduct yourself in the right spirit, all the activities, then you will get successful. So what is needed is pure-heartedness and guilelessness, and everything will be followed up when you have those qualities. Doing spiritual practice is important. Without spiritual practice, it's only, you'll be telling, it's only on the paper. It should be in action. Yeah. So, what we say, what we mean, must be coordinated. And everything will come all right. Then you will be guided by Mother herself. And every moment you feel Mother is guiding you, Mother is protecting you, Mother is showing all grace. You feel that. When you are connected to that source, you feel that Mother's love is flowing through. But connection is important. If the connection is lost, you won't get that feeling. Let us stop. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean, and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust, raging furiously within. O name, stream down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self, drowned deep in the waves of His bliss, tasting His nectar at every step, bathing in His name that bought for weary souls. Various are thy names, O Lord. In each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy, how huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass, be patient and forbearing like a tree. Take no honor to thyself, give honor to all. Chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue. The playthings of lust or the toys of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is thy servant, O sweet one. In thy mercy, consider him as dust beneath thy feet. Ah, how I long for the day when an instant's separation from thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years. But my heart burns with its desire, and the world without thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at thy feet let me be, in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O thou who stillest the hearts of thy devotees, do with me what thou wilt, for thou art my heart's beloved, thou and thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere, may all be happy, may all be free from disease, may all realize what is good, May none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous. May the virtuous attain tranquility. May the tranquil be free from bonds. May the freed make others free. May good betide all people. May the sovereign righteously rule the earth. May all beings ever attain what is good. May the worlds be prosperous and happy. May the clouds pour rain in time. May the earth be blessed with crops. May all countries be freed from calamity. May holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied. For he being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.